In the previous sections, we have defined what a system is, what system thinking is, what system thinking is not. Before we take these know-how and get deep into system thinking and applying it to certain examples, we are going to have some fun. What fun are we going to have? We are going to look at some real-life complex systems. When I say complex systems, these are at the pinnacle of human engineering. If I put a question to you and ask you, what is the most engineering feat of the 21st century, what would your answer be? I would say the challenge to build a starship to go to Mars and come back alive. Well, a company in the world is already attempting this, SpaceX. We are going to take SpaceX example and discuss how a very, very complex system is looked upon from a system thinking perspective. We are not going to discuss the system at complete, but at a very high overview so that we can take these learnings and do a team activity. Let's see how SpaceX manages or SpaceX has dreamt to go about building the system. As we discussed with system thinking, we can really, really imagine how a system is and try to simulate it even before we actually build it. So this is what SpaceX has done. With SpaceX's core technology of landable reboots and the new Starship that they're developing, their aim is to launch 2 different Starships. The first Starship would, of course, boost the payload into space or into orbit, and the boosters will return back. The second Starship will boost another payload into space. The 2 payloads will rendezvous at space, and there will be exchange of fuel between the 2 payloads. Both the payload and the booster will return back to Earth, whereas the payload from the first launch is going to proceed and go to space. But there is a critical challenge here. How does this payload enter Mars and then land on Mars? Because Mars is not an environment like Earth, and the atmosphere will have least resistance. To come up with this, SpaceX has looked at Mars as a system and then decided if there is going to be an entry into space into Mars, how will it look like? Well, if you look at the simulation, you can see their acceleration curve and their payload entering Mars. You can see that the acceleration is stepped down in certain phases to resist certain heat shields, and it rapidly goes up, and then the G-forces kick in. There's a change in altitude, and you can see that as it's approaching its launch points, it slows down, the velocity slows down very much, and it starts to map the lower points. It has already looked for a trajectory, and it is following that differential trajectory to the launch point. You will see shortly that laser points come out and start mapping the launch pad. As it goes down the launch, it nears the surface and then slowly approaches with accuracy of laser metrics to get and launch and get to the stationary position on Mars. Isn't this a beautiful simulation? Well, this comes about as a product development because SpaceX has now well understood how the system of Mars works and how their system of rocket launches work and how these 2 systems have come together. It does not end the story there. We still have half the challenge left. We have only managed to land on Mars. How do we come back alive to Earth? Well, SpaceX has an idea. They say that in Mars, they will have to produce carbon fuel, most probably methane. That's what the 3 small boxes you see here. And that will be used to refuel this payload, which is also a launcher, because you will see that there are boosters when they landed, and this will boost us out of Mars. You will not need extra boosters like in Earth, because the Mars environment is very thin, and we can easily escape the Mars gravitation. This booster is going to come back, return to Earth, and again retrobusely boost itself to land on the Earth's surface. Isn't that a wonderful idea? Isn't that a complex system? But clearly thinking through this with system thinking, SpaceX has come out with an idea that is implementable, an idea that looks feasible. System thinking allows us to look at very complex systems and to really break them down into implementable ideas. For an example, today we are taking engineering examples, but it is not so. We can always look at other examples. System thinking actually applies a lot in healthcare because healthcare is a very complex system. It applies in communities, it applies where humans are involved. System thinking gives clarity on a lot of levels where the problem is wicked. We will continue to see this in our next section. But before we go there, what is the challenge I have for you? I have taken an example of the 21st century to go to the Mars and come back alive. But way before, humanity faced another challenge, or humanity put itself against the challenge. The challenge was simple. Challenge Apollo. Go to the moon and come back alive. Now that you know, you have to see the problem as a system and not just as a point solution. And you also have an example of how SpaceX has thought about going to Mars and coming back. How would you design a system that has to go back to the moon carrying people and then come back carrying them back alive to Earth? This is not a new system. This has already been attempted. You can always look at the sources that are given in your edX platform. But when you analyze the system, what new things can you bring into it? What more can you imagine? What new system points can you bring in? This is your challenge. With this challenge, you'll have to work as a team and come up with a simple sketch of how a system that you imagine will go to moon and come back. With these two systems, I would like to take you to another very complex system. Maybe this is the first time in your life you really see such a complex system. What is this complex system? The world has a lot of ships that are huge, and it becomes a problem to transport these ships from one place to another. So a company in Netherlands made a system that can transport other systems. And this is a behemoth, the Dockwise Vanguard. The Dockwise Vanguard is a transport ship which can transport other barrages, other ships, other oil fields, and even huge heavy machinery systems that can dig the earth. What you see here is a small video of the Dockwise Vanguard. You can see that the Dockwise Vanguard is already positioned, and this ship is going to be carried as a piggyback on the Dockwise Vanguard. You will see that the Dockwise Vanguard has been set up. It actually submerges in water so that the new ship can come and stand above it. And then it can be tied down to Dockwise Vanguard, and the Dockwise Vanguard can then take it away and take it to its destination. This is an example of a very complex system because the Dockwise Vanguard is not only developed to transport ships, but to transport very other heavy equipment items. You should be able to watch this link and find out what are the typical payloads that the Dockwise Vanguard carries. In any case, this is a very, very complex system, and it has been beautifully put together to solve a problem. Again, I insist that we have taken an engineering problem because we are all engineers here. But as such, system thinking is a concept that can be applied to any problem. Look at anything around you, look at any product, look at your home, look at your family, look at your college, look at your class, look at your department, everything is a system. In many cases, they are very complex systems. Every entity in a system plays a part. These entities interact together for emergent functions. These emergent functions are sometimes desirable, sometimes undesirable. In many cases anticipated, in many cases non-anticipated. But system thinking gives us the basics to understand the complex world around us and really attempt to solve big problems. Thank you.